Okay, technical difficulties, but we made it. So, hello everyone, welcome from. My name is Päivi Kaunisto, and I'm a delivery manager or project manager, as we call them in Wunder, Finland. And in this session, I will introduce you 7 advices how to make digital projects successful. So, how to make Go projects smoothly and how we can improve our teamwork. At Wunder, we started to recently explore a bit our delivery process and how could we improve it. And some of these tips are based on those findings. All right, let's get started. Firstly, get organized. I vividly remember years ago, I ended a drama school and I had a project to do. And one day I had booked the classroom for myself to practice a bit. And in the morning when I came to the door, there was a post-it note attached to the door, and it said, "Päivi, get organized!" Exclamation point. Now, that was from my teacher. It was quite embarrassing, to be honest. and but it made me think, and reevaluate my way of working. So now my job is to organize projects and make sure things go smoothly based on budget, on time, and team works well. So, this is a useful skill for anyone in any role to be organized. And actually, it's not really a skill. It's more like a habit. If you focus on it, you can make it a habit. One thing that helps is to use tools. So whatever tools works for you. You can use like OneNote, just a good old pen and paper, really. Whatever works for you. And of course, we use often things like Jira for tickets to implementation, or maybe you have a time management system, budget system. Of course, these are useful, but you can also use your own notes, make to-do lists. At the end of the day, have a look at your list and see what you have accomplished. Rule out the ones you did, and then make priorities for the next day. And maybe it helps you to set yourself a little time goal, like, hey, I'm going to give myself 2 hours to do this, and maybe that gets you focused. And also, one important thing, make one task at a time. Now, we often get distracted by chats, notifications, meetings, and this can be very disrupting. It can just break your thought process, and you're like, oh my God, where was I? What was I doing? If you have to jump from task A to C, it can be really distracting. And maybe you as a developer, somebody tells you like, hey, you need to fix this bug. Like client wants to do it right now. And you're like, okay. And you can always ask, is this urgent? Should I really do this now? Or can I do it later? So it's really important to kind of organize yourself. And, if you have to do it, maybe you have to do it. But try to focus on one task at a time. According to research, multitasking actually reduces your productivity. 40%. That's pretty a lot. And also, put the notifications off. You don't need to have the phone next to you all the time. Just put it out of the sight. So, prioritize and be agile. Plan well. Now, this is a bit related to the previous one. Often, already the planning should start on proposal stage. So maybe this is more for people who actually do the proposal. Have the right team to do the proposal. Sometimes it happens that we ask estimations from this developer and that project manager, and they have all different opinion. And then you hand it over to actual team who does it, because maybe the team changes, and they are like, oh my God, this is not the estimation I would get. So try to always include the people who actually are doing the project during the whole cycle. Also, if you have sales managers, who you have in the proposal stage especially, have them also to come to the retrospective meeting, so they get the right insight and understanding, okay, once the project was sold and done, what went well, what could be improved, and they get a great insight for the next proposal. Also, if you have developers working on the tickets, have them to do the backlog system, the backlog tickets. Don't just leave it on the product owner, the client, the project manager, because the developers are the right people to estimate the work amount and how long something takes. Or does it even make sense from the technical point of view? So always make project transparent and clarify the business goal to the whole team, because also developers need to know why we're doing this. Time management. Allocate enough time to make quality work. And this goes also from the start. Discovery, have people enough time for the discovery phase, and also enough amount of sprints. Now, sometimes, of course, we have to squeeze a bit the sprints because budget demands or schedule demands. But then this is a risk, and we have to tell the client, like, look, if we do this, we may not be able to do this. So, be realistic. And also, if you're asked to give estimations, give realistic estimations. If it's something that you think is going to take 2 days, then it's 2 days. Like, don't say 1 day, because that's going to get you more in trouble later on when you realize the budget is just going and the time is going. And it's much more nicer actually to surprise the client, like, look, I did this already. Even you said it's 2 days, but actually it took me only 1 day. Also, if you have a team that consists of juniors or seniors, have these people like to do the estimations, and they all have different skills and strengths. And you have to take that in consideration. Something that takes 1 day from a senior might take 3 days for a junior. Also, if you have a new person coming into the project, especially in the middle of the project, give a bit time for onboarding. Have that included, because it's so important that that person understands what we are doing, why we are doing, so they all get onboarded well. And this is the best way you bring value to the client as well. Then, one important thing, show appreciation. Really important. Have fun when you're doing project work. It's always good to smile a bit, make silly jokes. Work-life balance is so important. Do not compromise that. Thank your team. Maybe you can surprise them a bit. Bring some nice pastries to the office and, cheer up the day a bit. And thank yourself too. You are also once the project is finished, celebrate. You did it well. Then give feedback nicely. It's so important to be constructive and emphasis on the positive comments when you give feedback. People tend to override positive comments with negatives. According to research, actually one should give 5 to 6 positive comments for 1 negative one. 5 to 6 positive comments for 1 negative one. So really important to think how you're going to formalize your message. Be respectful and don't ever criticize anyone publicly. We are all there. We have to give feedback sometimes. Maybe you have to, as a developer, review somebody's pull requests. You have to review somebody's code. You don't agree with it. So think how you're going to say your message. Think, how would I like to get this message? What would actually help me? At Wunder, we have WunderHugs system. Now this is a kind of recognition system to give feedback to our team peers. And it's really a great system. And our bonus system is tied to that, but that's not actually the most important thing. So how it works, that each week, everyone can give 5 hugs, send 5 hugs through a system to our colleagues. And it can be just thanking something like, hey, thanks for helping me in this project. It was really great. Or it was nice to work with you. And you can do it anonymous, or you can say that, hey, this was from me. And it's so nice to read these afterwards, these messages. It really brings you a good feeling. You feel appreciated, and you feel more confident. It's nice. It's a great rewarding system for your peers. And actually, our 85% of our Wunder employees, they think that WunderHugs improves working atmosphere. Here is our little hugging Wunder bunnies. Ask help. Now, I worked a lot with juniors, and I see often that they are afraid to ask help. It's embarrassing. We've all been there. Oh no, I don't know how to do this. And you feel kind of dumb. But don't feel that. We all are there. We need help sometimes. Often happens that the complex tickets or tasks are avoided and nobody says anything until it's asked. But don't. If you have tried all you can, you have researched, you have studied, you have really tried to find a solution, but you can't. You just have to ask, because that's the only way to go forward. In Finland, we actually have a saying that goes something like this. The one who asks her road. So please, there is no shame in asking help. And you also, each of us in the team, is actually responsible to create this kind of safe atmosphere that you can ask help. You don't have to feel shy about it. And finally, communication and teamwork. Now, we've talked now about showing appreciation, giving feedback, and actually it all comes down to communication. It really is the central thing of project. Essentially, project work is communication and teamwork. You can't really separate those two. We have to all the time express ourselves, tell the team, look, I'm doing this, why I'm doing this, hey, I have an issue, I have a problem, there's a blocker, and we also need to solve these problems together. And we need to communicate also with the client, especially as project managers. We need to update the client, where we are at, what we're doing, why we're doing this, why we shouldn't do this. So it's super important. So in a nutshell, all in all, here is the 7 tips how to make digital projects successful. Get organized, plan well, manage your time, show appreciation and give feedback, and do it nicely. And ask help, communicate, and do cooperation, teamwork. Thank you, everyone.